Well, it is really a delight and honor to greet you all over here. My name is Daria Loy. I'm the founder and director of Imperfecta. And if you haven't been here before, I actually relocated my gallery from Oregon City to this location, and in fact inaugurated this location last Thursday. So it's very, very, very new. So it's been a lot of work in the making, and but it's an honor to have a chance to introduce my dear friend, artist in the gallery, but also more importantly, dear friend Gillia Cutshall for this talk. So Jennifer has been in my gallery since actually the very beginning. In fact, in 2024, she had a solo show in my older gallery in Oregon City. And I know it's hard to imagine, but my older gallery was 500 square feet, a very petite gallery. And I am very grateful for all the artists that have been with me on that journey since that petite gallery and believed in me and my mission up till this point. And so Jennifer is only one of the first people that joined my gallery, and I could not be any happier because not only she's an incredibly talented artist and beautiful human and friend. And so that's the best combo one can hope and dream for to have in their gallery. So Imperfecta is a gallery that is focused not exclusively but dominantly on showcasing and supporting women artists and underrepresented creatives. Very important, and if you want to know more about the gallery and the philosophy, I'll be happy to burn your ear, put your ears on fire in another moment. But right now, I really want to put the spotlight on Jennifer. Of course, you know, her beautiful work. I was so blessed and very grateful when I invited her to have her in an installation here in my gallery as the first installation, you know, to really inaugurate the installation space. So this area over here will be, hopefully if all goes well, always every month or every second month, a new installation. It was very important to me as a gallery owner, and that's why I wanted to have a bigger space to be able to support art that is not necessarily for sale and is really more immersive, interactive, that envelopes you, that you can play with and you can be part of, right? Regardless of whether it's for sale or not. And in my 500 square feet it was impossible, but here finally the dream can come true. And when I was thinking about what installation to have as first installation, my friend Jennifer was my immediate thought, and I was very, very grateful that she accepted. And I have to tell you, it took so many weeks for her to install this work. I was here finishing and building the space while she was working here, and it was fantastic because turns out that both of us, we talk to ourselves when we're working. So I would have my conversation, she would have her conversation. Every now and then we would say, are you saying something to me? Like, no, I'm just talking crazy. I'm glad we're both crazy. Anyway, without any more silliness from me, I just want to ask Jennifer, please come on in, Serena. There is a seat over here, 2 seats here in the front. Come on in, there are 2 seats here in the front. Oh, come around. So I want to have our beautiful Jennifer to come, and please don't be shy, you know, like do ask. It's very wonderful when you have artists that make presentations, they put so much love and care, and it's always very much rewarding when you actually ask questions or you're curious about something. I mean, personally, I find that is a fantastic moment when that happens. So be generous also with your question giving, and thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Well, Doria is such an expansive, she talks about her old space, the 500 square feet space, but she is such an expansive, visionary human as an artist and a curator that when I first saw the space, I knew it matched more of her spirit that she could embrace. And it's I'll touch on this later, but there are some things in my installation that are specifically geared to the light from people like Daria, and specifically Daria. So if I don't circle back to that because I'm nervous, hit me up for that, because I want to formally thank Daria and recognize her vision, because specifically in these times, we need people like Daria. This is so important right now. This space right now is crazy pivotal. Her embracing of artists right now in the history of all, her story of all time is so important. And for artists like me, I know there's tons of great artists in the audience, and hats off to you. So I can't stress that enough about being in this space and her inviting me as the first installation. So meaningful. She came to see my installation at Building 5, Pamela Tipman's here. Hi, Pamela. It's an expansive 5,000 square foot space. And Dory was like, well, maybe you could have this one. And my head started swimming in new ideas when I saw the space. So it is re-realized, and I took out a part. The name of the Building 5 installation was Goes to the Flame, Hanging in the Balance. And I took the Alone and Counting video from that as the nucleus for this, because I feel like technology, and I was like, oh, you're gonna do screens, Jen? You're gonna do screens for your presentation. Why can't we just talk, you know? So, because screens are part of the problem today, and that's part of my installation, is that we are behind screens, I don't even know how much time, but a lot. And the world is burning, right? And as I was driving over here, I ran a yellow light, not a red. And I thought, well, that's the perfect metaphor. We aren't running yellow lights anymore. We're going through red lights, people. Our addiction to technology and screens, where the world is burning, we're gonna get hit. We are getting hit. So I thought, well, that's the metaphor for today, that we just keep, at every corner, we're burning through red lights with what we buy, where we shop. And that's why places like Doria's, shop here if you need a gift. Shop at the small places. Buy art, support artists, support people that support artists. It's not easy. These are, it's not easy today. It's harder than ever, but it's more important than ever. But anyway, I digress from the Alone and Counting. Let me get my glasses. It's strange that I wore a hat, but it's like I sort of want to hide, and I also want to express myself, right? Because that's what's important today. Expressing ourselves through art, through spaces, and without expression, we're just sort of seeing the veneer of things. When we look at the screen, it's good. I like to connect. I use all the modalities, and today I'm going to use, a screen. But it is this, me seeing you, that gets my heart going. I feel more alive because of it. This is what it's worth. We need to be together more instead of alone and counting. And if you don't have a chance, I show Alone and Counting video. It's a real short video, but it's sort of what this is about. Let's see. All right. So the poetry of space is what installation, that term is what installation art is to me. As an artist and also as a curator, but as an installation artist, I fall in love with spaces ever since I was a little girl. I had a passion for spaces. I grew up in New York, had museums at my fingertips, and I would go. I remember seeing Judy Chicago's dinner party at the Brooklyn Art Museum, and I felt like that was for me. I was a little girl, I didn't know what it meant, but the space just sang to me like nothing else. Not like a TV show, not like a phone conversation, but the space and what that artist did in the space was so big to me. But I felt connected. And that connection, I think, in art spaces is what is really what I want to sort of imbue to you today. Connecting in the spaces. So a little bit about my background. You know, I've been an artist for a very long time, as long as I can remember. I'll be 60 this year, so. But I was a muralist, a scenic artist for theatrical productions. I remember when they hired me for theater stuff, they would leave for the day and come back and be like, what the, what happened? But the idea of changing a space that much was like, wow, okay. And just that sort of buoyancy, you know, and I love walls, and and Dory and I both, we curate walls, and that has a certain sense of buoyancy. But something about the round, and not just pedestals, but like taking over the round, that's the buoyancy and the contact that feels, I mean, and it's crazy because you're giving everything to it. I mean, when we go to the studio and we paint, we give a lot. But installations are a beast. And some people do very, you know, clean, aesthetically clean installations, maybe. It's just a few things. And those are valid in their own right. But my installations are beasts. I go to bed thinking about it. I get up early. I drive around and see free eucalyptus and have to go get the van. So mine sort of take over my life. And but my background, I've always been spatially interested, which, you know, all artists are to a degree, because of composition. And so I've done a lot of public art, over 300 murals. I've done scenic art in museums, backdrops, and just creating environments that tell a story of the past. So, you know, different than this, but the relationship is there. It's weird that I'm putting the floor murals in, but I have to tell you that floor murals, I am so crazy about them. Not the ones that are perfect and like, oh, I want the concrete. This is like, I did these murals a long time ago. And I remember when I was hired, they were like, oh no, just do what you do. And that's like music to an artist. Do what you do. Okay. Instead of most murals are sort of assignments. You're working with a committee, you're chosen, there's a lot of negotiation. But these floor murals were like, oh, I love what you do, just do whatever. And that expanse of floor, if you can imagine, that openness of expression really spoke to me. So that's the only reason I included. And this one's totally different. Same person hired me, and she said, no, just do whatever you want. And so abstraction. I've worked with, this is a high school in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I did a residency there, and we activated the courtyard. And the kids, instead of being, I know now there's a lot of projection with murals. I'm old school. I believe in drawing and responding to spaces. So they were like, projection wasn't around as much then, a little bit. But to me, that's like sign painting, and I want to respond to surfaces and environments. So these students painted this and responded. We drew and we talked, but I said, we're going to arrive with the paint. And they're like, we're not going to draw it out? No, we're just going to arrive. So that immediacy, that installation art, and a sort of old school way of painting is really attractive to me. Let's see. And then you might not know, I also am a curator, and I've curated hundreds of exhibitions, large and small. So that relates to what Daria does, and my work as an installation artist. And I think my favorite exhibitions that I've curated sort of broke down the walls. They brought in different things, like furniture, like when people would come into a gallery and say, oh, is this a gallery? I like that. It's unrecognizable. It's not as fixed. It has room for interpretation. So that spatially speaks to me. Yeah, and I think a big part of what I'm doing with installation art is merging my love for nature. I think we all share that here. I'm going out on a limb, but we all love beautiful scenes, right? We come up upon mountain ranges. But I also love, I don't love what happened, but I have a strange fascination with, like after the devastation of a forest fire, seeing the bones of the trees. That's what started this like hanging in the balance. And it sounds creepy, but I was like, oh gosh, look at how it looks. Look at all that family of trees. They're all connected under the ground and they all burned and you can see their bones. And it's endlessly fascinating, but something weird happens when places get devastated like that. Well, first of all, the forests are closed for hiking, so the cars stop coming, right? We're more alone. And I remember going out, because we go out on the Clackamas River a lot, and they closed off the road for a time. You couldn't go as far as we usually would go to the river. And it was just decimated. And you could see everything. It looked so different. And I remember, like, my heart was breaking for the animals. Where are they? Where did they go? They can't hide. There's no food. So just all these flood of feelings, and this is what interacts with my installation work. But I also noticed that the lack of cars is an important piece, and that's saying we're turning a blind eye to this. We're not going to come here anymore, and because we don't want to see it, you know. I still wanted to see it. It was part of my environment when it was lush and beautiful. It's still part of my environment. So I have to see it. I have to know what happened, and I have to experience it. Maybe that's through photography or just going for a walk and looking down and seeing ash, seeing the blackened trunks. But I'm sure you guys have experienced this. I know you all, I love forests and trees, and so there's so much grief that sort of gets stuffed away. We lose so many things in global warming, and that phone isn't helping us because we sort of get lost and distracted. And oh, I'm not going to go down that road anymore because I can't hike there because it's not lush anymore. But what if we went there and said, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to take the time to look, and then I'm going to change some behaviors that might impact global warming. And my installation work is me going out on a limb and saying, look at them. Look at these carcasses hanging like animals, you know, that have passed. People have said, oh, I remember at Building 5, someone said, you're so, it's scary how creative this is, or I forget the word she used, but I said, scary, how scary, you know. But I think we do, we like to look away. And I think it's a time we can't really. Any way we can, we have to look at the things. Oh, and this one is, you know, this is by the Clackamas River. And I thought it was interesting because we have that power grid superimposed on the burnt trees that, yeah, man, we have all these needs. It's gonna keep burning. We're gonna keep plowing through the red lights at the expense of the environment. That's it. Keep, you know. And in the design sense, I've always been attracted to, hi Richard, are you late? It's okay. So this is the reason, Doria, I said I'm gonna drive alone because I remember, this is my husband, Richard. I said to Richard, we're leaving at 10:15. And he said, oh, it's not till 11:30, we can leave at 11. I said, you know what, we'll do separate parts. We're bad for the environment, wasting gas, right? But anyway, hi, I'm glad you made it. I've always been attracted to stumps too, and like, I don't know if you're driving on the Columbia Gorge or any waterway, even the ocean, and you see those pylons and the way the light hits and casts the shadows. Does that get you? That gets me. So that's my thing. I have to, there's a taste of it here. It's not quite, I didn't get the recipe. So I want to emulate those pylons somewhere in an installation with the long shadows. I think I like loneliness in landscapes. I don't know, it's weird. Like, so I think that's why when I see the burnt forest, you know, it's devastating. You want to cry. Any death, right? You want to grieve. But it's hauntingly beautiful too, you know. Oh, this was, hi Pamela, this was at Building 5, the bigger installation that Daria came to see. It was called Goes to the Flame, Hanging in the Balance, and again, the skeleton trees. And another thing I like about installation work is that depending on how you do it, time of day can have an impact, just the way in nature. So it's sort of mirroring again, exterior being mirrored in the interior, and it happens in Daria's space. It changes, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So I like that. I don't want things to be so controlled and fixed that every minute of every point that a viewer comes see it, I have control of exactly what I don't need that. I want it to change on a rainy day, on a why are you smirking? Mm-hmm. I'm talking to my husband. Okay. So I want to, sorry. It's so weird. It's hard not to flirt with them. It's Valentine's Day, give me a break. But, so I love that interaction. So I don't want to get rid of that. I do need level of control, right? You know, we have to have things work and people be able to experience things. But I do like that at night, Building 5 took on a whole different environment, and then here at Daria's, it's totally different depending on the weather. Daria took these great photos, and I'm showing some of them. They're incredible, where she was able to capture the outside trees sort of playing with the interior space. So I thought that was just beautiful. But yeah, in installation work. Oh, and here, so these are photos Daria took at Building 5, and Eli, her child Eli, looked out and said, oh look, the fog. And it was, I had a fog machine at Building 5, and it settled for a long time like it's weather in the space. Now that's not something I'm controlling, but it's something that happens. And to me, that is the definition of poetry of space. That things can happen. That we don't need things to be exactly beautiful or perfect, imperfecta, or controlled. It's when we let out the reins that a little bit of sort of poetry happens, right? Sometimes people report, what does it mean? I don't get it. But that's where the sort of magic lives, in that space, where we don't have to quite get all of it, do we? It doesn't have to be beautiful for us either. Oh, so anyway, the poetry of nature, sort of having a conversation with the poetry of space and the poetry of just what's interesting to me. I can't tease out my interest in nature and my interest in making things. They are coming together in a way. And then I try to listen to the heart of that and what I'm responding to. I want to respond. I don't want to control everything. And that's why when you look, it's not perfect. Oh, why isn't this perfect like this? Why, it doesn't need to be. It can live the way it is, you know. It can have impact. I don't know why I did 2 of those, but that is me during Doria's in my installation with Doria here. I had to collect more things, and I sort of drove my husband crazy. Like when I told him I had another installation, he was like, "Ugh." So I think I told Julie this. She related to collecting things because I would like come home late and be, you know, like I said, I would say we have to go and get this eucalyptus. It's in a bad neighborhood, and he didn't want to go, but he did for safety. So hats off to him. And that's me in my yard. Daria had asked what, I don't know if you can see them. Well, when you come out, and I hope you have time to go through the installation, there are these weird tendrily things behind one of the ghost brides and one over here that I painted black. I didn't burn these because that would have started a forest fire, but there's anise that I let grow obscenely tall to the chagrin of my neighbors. They're like, "Do you want us to weed that?" "No, leave it. I want it." And so I let those dry and then I paint them. But those you can't really burn like that. That would be dangerous. I do burn the trees. They have to be dead trees. I don't burn live trees. So there's this tons of gathering and sort of, when I had the Building 5 installation, I was on a hunt for dead trees that were sort of in someone's yard, and I would ask, "Oh, do you mind if I dig up your tree? You know, it's dead." But you would not believe the problems that asking for dead trees creates. I called almost every nursery in the region, and the question, "Oh, do you guys have any dead trees in the pots? I've seen them." "No, we never have any dead trees." I've seen them. But anyway, the nice thing about a tree at a nursery that's dead is it's already been harvested, and I can just clean the root balls, which takes these trees you might think, "Oh, what's the big deal? Just an upside down tree." The amount of work in the trees, hours-wise, is much more than my sculptures, my ghost brides. You wouldn't think that. But the amount of time, just finding them, getting them, then cleaning the root balls. I have tons of bins of water. Just keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. And then the painting with flame, and not burning down the neighborhood. So that's a whole thing. That requires a lot of sort of misting and water. From walks and things show up, I'll be like, "Oh, I didn't put dry leaves in. Better get some of those." You know, just I'm constantly listening to what can be. And a space like the Ghost of the Flame space was so big that chatter in my head never stopped. And it's still like, "Oh, if only I had time to do this." You know, so and I know you're all artists, so you're familiar with that sort of endless conversation of what might be. And there's Odie. He has to tolerate the presence of sticks, the temptation. And, you know, and I do a bit of cleaning of the sticks and rinsing, and I have screens, and the river rocks need a little bit of a spritzer. So that's like, it looks like it's just rocks, but there's time involved in the gathering and then the cleaning. So it's a thing. It's not instant. And then there's a lot of patience required. I know, and you guys, a lot of you are artists. You're either like a neat artist, they exist, or the messy. For my work, there's a lot of patience required, like a lot of tolerance of like stuff, and almost like a hoarding of materials because you never know what you need. It's sort of like that art teacher that has the bins of this. Oh, you know, it's a little crazy. And my van is just disgusting, which normally during installations my van is disgusting. That looks good, but oh, and I wanted to show a little bit of how tight my studio. Oh, it's not showing up so well, but you know, building my bigger sculptures takes a lot of room. I don't have a lot of room in my tiny studio. So I make different parts, and then I move. I have to move outside with those sculptures in the nice months. So I do a lot of building in the summer months, just because it's sunny. That's the nice part about here. And we had moved from New Mexico, which was, we always had like an outdoor space. But here in the summer, I work on my bigger, like anything that has resin or the bigger human sculptures. And I thought it was interesting to show the Ghost Bride, the paper mache build, because she has clay and wood and paper mache. She's sculpted just out of materials that you ball up and build. So, you know, like masking, like a typical, but she looks so different when she's done. Oh, and these are, maybe I'll use this time to talk about what Doria is doing. I made these sort of, sometimes I put these skins in my work, like even my paintings, like that storm one over there. It has skins of my drawings in it. And so for this installation, you can, I'm gonna start peeling one up. You can pass this around. Oh, she's not working. I want to get one started. Oh yeah, there. Okay. And you can pass it. You can even, I have other ones. But for this installation, I wanted to have like a little bit of hope. Here, I'll put those back there. Just to get a feel of, you can pass them around. In Billy Fida, I was able to have open flame a little bit. It kept me busy during opening night. I kept putting it out and turning it back on. But for Doria's, I wanted to have the embers on the stumps and, you know, without open flame. And they sort of, and so I wanted to create a sort of skin over the light because it wasn't flame. So I created these little skins. I use medium and paint and different things. You can just feel them. There's, leave them on, but you can see through them. But I use stuff like that. I experiment with stuff, and again, the imperfect nature of things. But back to Doria. The ember had the meaning of danger. Okay, embers are very dangerous. Even when I'm making the work, I'm like, ee. You know, like I'm painting with flame, and then an ember goes, ah! I get the hose out and I go crazy. But so there's a danger with embers, obviously. So that's part of the meaning. But ember also are representative of all of you, and specifically Doria is an ember of hope for that things can still grow. We can still be expansive. We can still honor art and pay attention to us being together. She's like an ember of togetherness. She's lighting the flame for all of us. So for me, the embers represent her. There's like a bigger one there. And but they also represent all of us, that we're in a dangerous spot. The embers are dangerous, but we can make choices every day that make a little bit of a difference. And I'm the worst one. I do all the bad things, and I'll do them today too, but I try to maybe change a little bit every time. So I'm sure you guys do better than I do, but if we can just talk about it, if we can just get together more and, you know, do the things. But anyway, so those are I thought that was an easy thing to kind of let you feel. And then I have like a kiddie pool that I soak some of the roots in, and sometimes I spray stuff in the kiddie pool. Tons of buckets, a half shovel helps me. The hose and the water, that mister is very important when you're painting with flame because it is dangerous, and I've had things happen that I'm not proud of, but they're in here. There's the root balls, are, just so you know, root balls are highly flammable. So, and I got a little, I'm so good about, dousing with water. I just got carried away. I did. And it just was, it was amazing, and I'm sort of fascinated, like it was like, but it was very dangerous. So, I don't really do the root balls anymore. I don't do the flame on the root balls. I'll clean them and just get them where I need them. And then I paint with flame on the dead tree skeletons. And I like finding dead trees. Like there's, my husband works at Linfield. There's a stand of 6 dead trees. I've had my eye on that person. So, because I have some installations coming up, and I'm actually going to need more trees. So I always have like a sticky notes of where I saw the dead trees. And farms. I mean, farms have these a massive amount of trees. There's always dead ones. And hey, can I dig it up? I'll dig it up. And so that I'm also I love being a physical artist. I think that's why I like scenic art and murals, because I was on scaffolding and like a monkey, and installation work can be very physical. Yeah. And I think I'm taking too long, so let me, oh wait, this one. So we talked about the flame painting, if you guys have any questions about that. And then these are some of the trees with the root balls, those gorgeous root balls. Have you ever seen anything so delightful? Really? And I think something delightful about roots is that they're all talking to each other in the forest. They're connected. They're like tendrils. They're like this. I care about you. It's amazing. They're just amazing beings, and they are us. What would we be without trees? Nothing. So, and they stay regardless of what we do. They'll pop out of a sidewalk. They keep coming. Oh, and here I'm just pointing to a tree I have my eye on in the yard. It has a little bit of death in it. So I'm like, I wonder if it's gonna die. So I have my eye on that, and I said to Richard the other day, I was like, I think that one's dying. He's like, wait, stop. Oh, okay, here's these photos. I couldn't resist. Like, Doria took these great photos, and I mean, just the way the exterior space is having a conversation with the interior, it kills me. That's just lovely, Doria. Love those. This one, geez, good photo. Oh, so when you go to the installation, I don't want to really define everything for you because you have your own way of seeing things, but grab the map, because the map kind of gives the titles of some of the works, and it kind of might flesh out some of the thinking, make more sense of it. It doesn't have to make sense, but you can assign your own meaning to it, which is fine. And the maps are right there at the front. Oh, and one of the things that happened with both these installations on the same vein, at Building 5, I had purchased a tree that was dying, like mostly dead. I brought it home and I started to burn it, and it wouldn't burn, and I felt like the needles, and it was still alive. And so I put it no, I never started to burn. That one I didn't start to burn. I started to take it out of the pot and get the root balls, but I felt like I saw a little like, not the syrup, what's that called?
Sap.
Yeah. I saw the sap and I was like, oh, it's kind of bleeding, it's still alive, it's not dead. So then I put it back in the pot and I watered it and took care of it, and it lived. And then it was part of the installation as the one that lived. And I thought it was sort of whispering to me like the trees were talking to me. And then in Doria's, there was this strange Christmas tree at the end of our alley. And I was like, hey, Rich, grab that for me. And he's like, ugh. And I thought he didn't. I thought I'm gonna have to go down there. And then I pull in the next day and it's there. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet, the tree. And it was a dead Christmas tree, but it was, I think I got it from the woods. I really do. It had this weird, you'll see it in there. And it was so strong, like the limbs were like, eh. And I started to burn it because it's dead. There's no roots anymore. It's cut. We kill trees. We do all the time for Christmas. And I was like, nah, man, this thing's alive. And I got the Christmas tree deal. What's that called? The stand.
The stand.
And I put the water in, and so it's like only a little bit burned, and the rest. So it's still, we give it water, right? We're giving it water, which is silly because it's not going to live. It doesn't have roots, but it's just the idea of hurting it, you know, while it still has the sap was. I don't know how they feel. I know they talk to each other, and that's through the roots, and it can't talk. So, you tell me. And then, so that was a favorite part of my installations, the ones that lived. And you guys are a favorite part. Just seeing you in the space is really probably the most important thing, maybe, you know? Oh, this was not to pull from Instagram. I'm talking about how much we're on phones, but that proves what I do is bad. But this is on Instagram. It just killed me the day that we were here. It wasn't open yet, but we turned around and there was a whole line of kids like jumping.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, and Daria, this was the time I was going to do the ember thing. But yeah, thank you, Daria. And yeah, trees are emblems of togetherness, and we are too. We are living, breathing, meant to be together. And they have us hooked on all this stuff. We're hooked. We're addicts for the phone. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. People like Daria doing this in this time, you know, and in this neighborhood, like Pearl just right, but it's not easy. None of this is easy. What she's poured into this is massive. So any way that you can support her, please do. We need Daria's, we need artists, we need you, you know. So that part I wanted to make sure to thank you. And we are trees, we really are. Forest for the Trees, if you look at that sculpture, have a look at how the neck is elongated and the eyes are closed. And if you can, notice that she's on a closed book. And she can't see the forest for the trees. She's, looking down at technology. So that's just sort of symbolic. There's a lot of symbolism. You don't have to get it, or maybe you don't care about that. Maybe you just want to look at the visuals. But it's in there, and it might mean something different to you. Breathless and Burning is the tree there. It's sort of like a wish chair, if you want to make a wish there. I can't light the candles here, but maybe our wishes will come true. And this goes back to, this turned out to be like a keyhole shape. I didn't intend it to. It just sort of happened that way. But I liked it. I thought, well, reflection is key. We have to look at, and there's a hand in there. I don't know if you can tell. And it's holding onto a cell phone, and it says, we are the ghost of what we cling to. So what are we clinging to? Conveniences? Guilty as charged. comforts, Gilgia's chart. But if we can just lighten the hold a little of those things, the impact, if we all did it, would be massive. Can you imagine? If we all shopped at Imperfecta instead of clicking, right? You have a gift for Valentine's Day. You're here. It's possible we can make the changes, right? And we have to.
Here's me.
That was cute.
Oh, thank you guys so much. And I made these little things so before you go into the installation. I made some, because it's Valentine's Day, I made chocolate stumps. But if you don't want, some people don't want to eat chocolate. I made a trail mix for happy trails, or a leaf cookie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, and I'll take questions too. I can give you, if you have a question, I'll give you a chocolate.
That was the motivation.
Yeah.
So an observation and a question.
Yeah.
So when I first looked at the installation, it was at nighttime at the opening, and I saw white. And so when I was walking over here, I kept thinking, I'm going to ask you why it's all white.
Oh, good.
And then I got here and realized there's black also,
yeah.
in the colors of the stump. So
Yeah.
I'm curious about your color choice.
Oh yeah, good question. The white, aesthetically when I built the Ghost Brides started without the forest, but I don't my conversation in the studio has longevity. I don't say, oh, that's that series and it can't interact with the new series. I'm always about okay, these make sense now. So they start as ghosts, so the white, probably that, and just as a purely artistic aesthetic thing, having the crevices and the shadows play on a blank canvas was important in the Ghost Brides. So just sort of that play of light and not making it about color. Color is emotional and color can sort of pull us in different directions. Like I paint with a lot of color. That storm painting is for sale. It's so bad. Anyway, but I didn't want the emotion of color in the Ghost Brides. I want the absence, the bleakness. I want it. Yeah, I want the bleak. Anybody else?
Yeah. Also an observation.
Yeah.
So you choose on life support, Virginia.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
And I hate to jump to the end of this,
Yeah.
but I keep thinking about it isn't all clearly isn't going to fit in your little studio.
Oh no,
So
that's a
it's-
good question.
I imagine you having sort of a ritual, replacing like the stones.
Oh, that's
to a
such a
river
good,
or-
yeah. My neighbors complain a lot about the alley and the potholes. So I did some filling of the potholes, but I keep a lot of them, thankfully, because I do have a lot of installations coming up, and I got rid of some things from Building 5 that I'm sort of sorry about. But I'll get them again, you know. I do have storage, and I do have a big yard, so there's like areas of the yard that have piles and kind of. I don't know what the neighbors think, but the animals like it. The animals like it. Anybody else? Oh yeah, Carol.
Oh, thanks. I think I gathered from your talk that they're hung upside down, which is something I was questioning. They're hanging upside down because they're like carcasses. Was that the symbolism?
Yeah, and ghosts and like sort of the invisible of, like I said, when the cars stopped coming to the forest. I liked that because I was like, oh, we're alone here. Isn't this so bleak? And you know, but also I thought, well, people stop looking. We don't like to look at the devastation. No, of course. I mean, it's painful, right? Why should, you know, we don't want that, you know. But yeah, they're sort of like carcasses or ghosts.
It's interesting too because it draws attention to the roots, which we
Right,
usually don't
right.
notice.
And then
How you clean them all.
Yeah, and this is called the spine of the forest. So I just love the way it looked. You know, the minimal, almost like a whale bone. And Carol, chocolate.
Yes, thank you. Both I observation and a question again. I live in that building next door.
Oh, that's so great.
I walked by Imperfecta all the
I
time,
know.
and I was looking sort of above and below the paper to try to figure out what this place was. And boy, seeing it from the outside in and the inside out is very different. When I saw the row of upside down trees, I thought jellyfish.
Oh, neat. Yeah,
It was just like,
tentacles. Yeah.
now that I'm in here, they're scared.
Valid.
Full
They're
confession here, I also burned a tree once. I helped a friend in New York City dispose of a Christmas tree. We thought we'd taken it far enough away, but when it went up like a bomb. And we ran around like crazy because we had no way to put it out, and it was frightening and scary, and that's kind of what it looked like when it was done.
Yeah.
It's scary. The fire has such a destructive that we have no control over.
Right.
So sitting here, looking out, with the background of the cities and the people going by and the cars and this and that and the other thing, it's interesting. And I forgot my question now.
Oh, I love what you said. It's, I think why I like finding the dead trees is because I can remove the pine and the debris. I do that first to get rid of the part. And so there's like a littering of that, and then I douse the tree so it's soaked. It's still burnt. I mean, it wants to burn, and those are the trees that might still have a little juice in them. The Christmas tree is a whole other story, man. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other story. It really is. But yeah, thank you. I'm from New York originally too. Yeah. Any other questions? You don't have to ask a question. Okay.
I'm curious. Oh, thank you. I'm curious about your relationship between, like, I guess, alone and intimacy.
Yeah.
When you're describing the sort of like, well, alone and counting, as well as like approaching these like burn sites as like a starting place of alone, this like sensations of being alone, of the process. I just want to hear more about those two kind of components.
That's a great observation and question. I love trees like all of you, but the process of working towards this installation made me have such a deeper appreciation for them. Just even, I always loved their curves and nuances, like in the winter you got to see how they are underneath, but that alone time where I'm experiencing their loss I'm not, I am causing it because I'm a person living today. The dead trees, finding the dead trees, I am burning a deceased tree, which is strange. But it also, the smell, everything about the tree is so intimate and beautiful, like you said, like just, they deliver at every turn, like, oh wow, you smell good, and oh wow, look at how, when you burn, look at that color, it's not quite black yet, it's just, so there's so many things to appreciate. Oh, and look at how I didn't notice how that tendril kind of curved a little bit, just more time. And time is the thing for artists. I mean, we never have enough time, yet we devote time to this like nobody's business because we're visual. They got us. We're addicted. We're visual creatures. And this is visual. The phone is visual. So it's just, it has to be an active battle with ourselves to fight that and to find the spaces. Not that we're never going to get rid of it. We need it. We have this new way of being. But to battle it and spend the time in the studio and in nature and finding ways to support places like Imperfecta and small businesses. I think that's what's important, and that will keep us together. And I think COVID, the alone and counting started to really amp up for COVID, and then AI is, just taking our water, and it's this cycle of, sometimes we might not even know we're using AI, and it's the beast that won't stop drinking, and then the icebergs are melting, and so it is important to be alone in a meaningful, meditative way, and not just on the phone. And maybe I was so proud. It's so kind of disgusting, but I was like, oh look, I only spent, I think it was like an hour and a half a day for a week on social. And I was so proud of myself, and I said, that's really sick, being proud of that. And I thought, if someone were to tell me like 15 years ago that, hey, you're gonna be sitting alone, counting likes, oh, come on, that's so bad. I would never do that, but here we are. Anybody else? Oh, hi.
I was fascinated with the embers that you passed around.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to, what was skins reads?
Yeah.
What the material was and where you incorporated in that.
Oh, yeah. So you'll be able to find it if you don't come get me. That's my teacher's art to come in and try to find it. But I use a mixture of sometimes matte medium, sometimes just school glue. You can make, those skins are matte medium on my painting. And you can make skins from resin. I've been experimenting with like making resin with the wrong recipe so it's not glass hard. And then, so I do a bit of experimenting with materials. It's never the same recipe. That's sort of kind of hook I am too. Just open to possibilities. But yeah, I use paint too, and sometimes paper, but sheer paper. I think these skins are just the medium. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? There was some. Oh, did you have a question? Sorry.
Oh, I had just a contribution to the conversation, and thank you so much. This
Yeah.
has been delightful. But so much of what you have said, I'm so glad I came.
Oh,
It's just an unexpected, someone speaking directly to me in a way. But I really strongly appreciated the commentary you were making about looking at things that we are trained to look away from and no longer racing to get through the yellow light, but we are running actively through stoplights, and we need to actually stop and be conscious of what is going on outside of our own little world, our own little safe place. But it was just really striking to me the parallel between, because I've been actively like, I need to find a way to like make this happen less in my life, and the methodology was to be present while you're scrolling, to look at the image, absorb the image, and like observe how it is affecting you, so that you are more conscious. We're not just like mindlessly scrolling. However, the other analogy side of that is me just walking to a tax appointment at H&R Block somewhere around here, is how I discovered this. But just from the outside alone was like an image, intriguing, sure, but I was like, because of social media existence alone was why I discovered Imperfecta. And so it's a constant balance of this. Or even when I was experiencing being in this amazing installation, I felt somewhat ashamed. I hope nobody sees me wanting to send this to my friends elsewhere.
Like, no, that's what I mean. Like, I'm probably the worst one. So, and there's no shame that we are connected through those devices. For make no mistake, we're here, and I don't want to get rid of that. But yeah, that's valid, you know. And we do have to connect. And I think during COVID, it really made this space for us. And you know, people are more lonely than ever today. And we just have to look at why and just try to get together more and be connected and use trees as the emblem. They get it. They keep trying to be together. They're reaching, you know. And it's not to get rid of it, but just to incorporate every day, you know, a practice that honors you, you know. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys sitting. It was kind of long. I'm sorry about that. But